Hi Arrows, I'm Kashawn and you are watching The Book Archer. So today I'm coming at y'all with my September wrap up and my October TBR. I managed to read 4 books. The first book that I read in the month of September is like a self-help inspirational book, and it's called You Are Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. This is by Jen Sincero. I think I said her name right. I had been seeing this book going around a lot. A lot of the people whose career I look up to were all reading this book for some reason. And it's not a new release or anything. It came out in 2013. I kept happening to see it, so I decided that I needed to give it a go, and I loved it so much. This book was so good. Like, I'm already thinking about rereading it just so I can tab it up. I keep referencing back to it. If you're a fan of like the self-help and inspirational genre, this is a really good one. I like the fact that this book doesn't feel like your typical self-help in tone, meaning Jen Sincero, she gives it to you raw, but at the same time when you read this, you just feel like you can accomplish anything. It talked a lot about what really it takes to have your best life, and I really enjoyed all the plot points in it. This book didn't necessarily say anything groundbreaking that you haven't heard before, so for that reason I only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, but my reading experience of this was definitely a 5-star read. I loved it. I really did. The next book that I picked up was Isla and the Happily Ever After. As I mentioned in the books I've been reading in 2016 video, which I will link down below, I had read the first 2 books in this companion trilogy, and I finally got to the last one. Most people were saying that this was going to be my second favorite, and then it was going to be my favorite, but I'm not sure how I felt about Isla. I did enjoy the story, and I thought the book was good, but at the same time, there are certain decisions that the character makes in this book that she's able to rectify. And I feel like in real life she would have just had to live with some of those things that she did. Sometimes in real life when you make certain decisions, they're not always fixable. This ending to me wasn't realistic, but the other part of the ending was just so sweet. And if you've read this trilogy, you know what I'm talking about. Oh man, what a great way to wrap up the trilogy. But yes, I still enjoyed this one, definitely not as much as the other 2. And if you would like to see a review of the entire companion trilogy, then let me know and leave that in the comment section below. And the next book that I read in the month of September was Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Of course, I had to immediately read. This is the 5th installment of the Throne of Glass series. Oh boy, I have so many thoughts about this book. I just don't even know where to begin. Overall, I still enjoyed it. I would give it like a 4 out of 5 stars or 4.5 out of 5 stars. But this is the first Sarah J. Maas book in the Throne of Glass series because I didn't give 5 stars. To say it was a 4-star and a 4.5 star is not like great. I still absolutely loved, enjoyed it. I enjoyed Manon and Lysandra and all of the side characters so much, but I feel like I did not get to connect with Selena at all in this book. The only scenes we got to see Selena in were with her love interest, and that really bothered me a lot because we become so connected to her in the past books. Though she has evolved and changed, I just felt like we didn't even get to really see her in this story because all of the exclusive and in-depth scenes that she had were just with her and her love interest. So I had to take off half a star or a whole star for that. Other than that, the scenes were epic. I really like the way that the plot is developing. There are certain characters that some of you are upset that you didn't really get to see in here, but I felt like that was a natural progression of the story, so I didn't really feel any type of way about it. I'm sure they'll show back up for the finale, and I am 100% doing a reread of this series before the last book comes out next year, and I'm thinking about doing a read along for this entire series over like the course of a few months. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, please let me know because I'm heavily considering it. So the last book that I read in the month of September was something that I picked up on a whim when I decided to participate in the Diversathon, and that is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee. Ahdieh. I had 3 books on my list for Diversathon, and my goal was to at least get through one of them. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed hearing about a different culture. Most of the fantasy that I read kind of takes place in the Western. I really love the fact that this book came with a glossary in the back for terms and things that you might have been unfamiliar with. As far as my thoughts on the book, I thought it was like a 3.75 star. I know some people who absolutely love and adore it. It was a good fantasy, but I wasn't mind blown. However, I really do like the 2 main characters a whole lot, and I can't wait to see how their story progresses. However, the country just didn't feel that fleshed out, and the fantasy world didn't seem that fleshed out to me, so for that I had to take off those extra stars. But 3.75 stars, I'm glad that I read this. Continuing on with my October TBR, I started reading this at the end of September. This was the second book that I had picked up for the Diversathon, and this is All American Boys. I'm going to read this first, and then I will start some other books. I'm so glad that I am reading this. Some stuff like this can be really tough to read and to talk about, especially with how prevalent it is to what's currently going on in our country, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and it still has a lighthearted feel to it, meaning you don't just feel like you're getting preached at. The main characters in this book are actually really likable. I will definitely 100% be doing a review on this once I finish reading it, and it will be a non-spoiler review, so everyone be on the lookout for that one. My main TBR theme for this month is to read Y'all Fest authors, to read books by authors that are going to be at Y'all Fest. As you guys know, Y'all Fest is taking place November 11th and 12th, I believe, and of course your girl plans on being there. I can't wait to see you all there, but there are a few authors who I have not read yet. The next book that I really want to check out is The Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I have the entire Something Strange and Deadly trilogy by her that I have not read yet, and I also have Truth Witch, so I at least needed to read something by her before Y'all Fest gets here, and she's best friends with Sarah J. Maas, so it just feels like I should read this. But I've heard great things about Truth Witch, and I heard that it follows heavily a best friend relationship, and I love hearing about like best friend storylines. And of course, Crooked Kingdom. Oh, I got this Beauty the Day it came out, and y'all, I'm like so excited to read this. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. It's so beautiful. Look at this book, y'all. Like, I cannot wait to read this. I read Six of Crows earlier this year. It was definitely one of the top books that I've read so far in 2016. I cannot wait to see how the story wraps up. This series has really just made me grow a fonder and deeper love for the Grisha universe in general. I just like how different this is. This is not like any other YA fantasy to me. Just the rawness of it. This is definitely going to be one that I am picking up this month, and I cannot wait. I still want to try to get some type of Halloween type reads in, but I'm just going with the flow. What did you guys read in September, and what are you reading this month? Are any of y'all going to Y'all Fest? Leave everything down in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at theBookArcher. See you guys in my next video.